Matthew 19:9. Whoever divorces his wife, who's saying this? Who's saying this? Jesus. Whoever divorces his wife, except for sexual immorality, and it's a big word, but for our purposes, we're going to say primarily adultery, but it can include other things because people are very perverted and can find ways around rules, and marries another, commits what? Adultery. So what's the condition? What's the clause, the exception for divorce? You're supposed to be married. The two become one. If we're going to take a cleaver to the one and make them two again, the issue should be for something as strong as adultery. Now, some Christians are going to come along and they're going to get really legalistic and say, no, you should never, never, never get divorced. Divorce is something that should not be rushed into. For those of you who are hearing this, hear me on this. Adultery does not mean you should get a divorce. Adultery means you have that as a possibility. It's not a requirement. You don't have to get divorced, but according to Jesus, you have a right to be divorced. But I would encourage nearly all of you, if I knew your personal case, to do all you could to go back to that vine and to nurture it and to feed it and to water it and to tend to it to see if you can't get it to grow again. If you're going to go do that with someone else, put all that time and energy and effort and investment in, oftentimes it is good to make that same investment in the relationship you already have. This is why I would discourage anyone from rushing into divorce in the moment of hurt. And if you are a victim of adultery, your spouse has cheated on God and cheated on you, your proclivity can be out of anger or hurt or frustration or out of shock or horror or embarrassment to just run into divorce. Don't do it under those kinds of emotionally draining, straining circumstances because, well, it's like getting married. I would never encourage anyone to rush into marriage, and I would never encourage anyone to rush out of marriage. These are massive decisions that involve many people, and they implicate the rest of our entire life. And for some of you say, well, I just want to get it over with. The truth is that when two become one and then they become two again, you're going to have suffering and scars in your soul for the rest of your days on the earth. You never fully recover and heal from that. In addition, my encouragement is particularly concerned about children. If you have children, sometimes the parents think, or the hurt, wounded parent thinks, we'll get a divorce and move on. True or false, for those of you who are divorced with children, that if you have children, it's never over. Because you still got the holidays, you still got the birthdays, you still got the school performances, you still got the soccer games, you've still got life together. And so the myth in our culture is get divorced and move on, but you'll carry the scars with you, and if you have children, to some degree, you never just move on. Very rarely have I told someone that I believe that we are at that point, but there are occasions where it gets to that point. Let me say that you don't make that decision yourself, you make it with wise counsel. You get someone who is a godly pastor, a biblical counselor, to look at all the variables and to hear the other side, because let's be honest, sometimes someone tells the story in such a way that it benefits them. That you're not in a place to be the judge of when this time has come in your own life. And whatever you do, don't go to the Bible looking for a way to get what you want. Okay? Go to the Bible looking for what God wants.